Hi, it's Emily. Welcome to my kitchen. It's 9:30 at night. I thought it'd be a great time to make some dough for bread, and we're going to bake it tomorrow. It's crusty, no knead bread. It's that yummy, round, artisan, rustic looking bread that has a nice crust and then it's soft on the inside. Super easy to make, really, only 5 minutes about, and with ingredients that you already have in your pantry. You can make plain or you can add things to it. That's what's fun about this bread. You can make it a sweet bread, you can make it a savory bread, you can make it plain. So tonight I thought it would be fun to make a cheddar jalapeno. That would go great with some spaghetti or with a salad, soup. Go really well. So I'm going to chop up some of these. I have some candied jalapenos. They're not too hot, a little sweet. So I'm going to chop these up to put in the dough and then just grate some of this cheese. But here's the basic dough recipe. So we're going to get 3 cups of flour. I'm going to do heaping cups. 1, 2, 3 cups of flour, 3 heaping cups. And then we're going to add some salt. About a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to do 1.5 teaspoons. You can do 1 or 2 teaspoons. I'm going to go right in the middle with 1.5. And then all we need is 1/2 teaspoon of yeast. It doesn't take that much yeast. But what this does is it proofs all night long. For 12 to 18 hours, it's proofing, and it will rise up and then it falls, and we'll get all these little bubbles in it. So all we have in here is flour, salt, yeast, and then we're going to add to that 1.5 cups of water. And use either lukewarm or tap, or don't get hot water because it's going to kill that yeast. And it's okay to just use lukewarm because it's going to have all night to proof and to rise. I'm going to use this little dough hook. Makes this go pretty fast. And your dough's not going to be all nice and like when you make regular bread, how it's in a ball, and this is going to be kind of sticky, and that's fine. We want it to be kind of sticky. And we're not going to overwork it. We're just going to get the flour and the water and that yeast and salt just combined. You could also use a fork or a spoon, or just dig in there with your hands too. So, see how much time we've put into this? I mean, barely. We've 3-4 minutes. By the time you get all your ingredients together, 5 minutes prep work. And then you have to plan a little bit ahead because it needs to sit out. But other than that, this is a super easy bread. Okay, that's all the mixing I'm going to do. See how it's just a little bit sticky. It's not going to form a perfect ball. That's right. That's what we're looking for right there. Then we're going to cover this, and if we were going to do plain, we'd be done. We just put. I love these Tupperware bowls because look, all you have to do is put this lid on it. But this is the one I'm going to make jalapeno cheddar. Doesn't that sound so good? A little spicy, a little tangy. So I'm going to shred up my cheese and cut up some jalapenos, and then I'm going to mix it in. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back with my diced jalapenos. Just put that in. And you leave this out overnight. Don't refrigerate it. You might think you need to refrigerate it because of the cheese and jalapeno, but you don't. You don't need to refrigerate it. Just out on the countertop is fine. For 12 to 18 hours. So I've got my mix-ins, the jalapenos and the cheddar, and then I'm going to give this a stir. I mean, you could put anything in here that sounds good to you to mix in. You could put Parmesan and rosemary. You could put all kinds of different cheeses and spices and seasonings. But I think jalapeno and cheddar go nicely together. Okay, we've got it mixed in. So I'm going to put the lid on. And then tomorrow, I'm going to come back. And then I'll show you tomorrow how to bake it. You bake this in a Dutch oven. Hi, it's Emily. Today is bread baking day. We've got our bread dough here that we made last night, and it's been sitting out just on the kitchen counter for about 18 hours. And it's all ready to bake. It's all proofed. It rose all night. You can see our cheddar and our jalapeno. This is what it looks like. It's very sticky. And that's good. That's what we want. And do you see all those air bubbles in it? This is perfect. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to get you a better angle and I'm going to show you. I've got a cookie sheet here with a piece of parchment paper and then some flour. We're going to just pour our dough onto the cookie sheet, and we're kind of going to form, not really a ball because it's a little flat, kind of form it into a circle. Oh, look at all that cheese. I can smell the jalapenos coming through. Oh yeah. And it's sticky, that's fine. It's all gonna just cook perfectly. And that's all we're looking for right there. It's just kind of like a circle. That's it. In the oven, I've got preheated a Dutch oven, and it's been in the oven for about, well, probably 20 minutes at 450 degrees. So it's nice and heated up for us. So we're just gonna grab this, and I'm gonna take off some of this excess flour. I didn't need to use so much flour. I'm gonna take off a little bit of that. And then I'm just going to pick this whole thing up and just plop it right inside the hot Dutch oven. Get rid of a little bit of this. There, that's perfect. This is really hot. Here's my dough on the parchment paper, and I'm just going to drop it right into the hot Dutch oven. And then put the lid on. And then I'm going to put this in the oven. I'm going to let it cook at 450 degrees with the lid on. And then after 30 minutes, I'm going to remove the lid and let it cook for another 10 to 15, whatever you think it needs. Okay? Hey Siri, set a timer for 30 minutes. Okay, see you in 30. I'm back. I just pulled the bread out of the oven. It's beautiful. It's a gorgeous loaf of bread. Check out this loaf of bread. Doesn't that look divine? So good. Look at the crust, how it just is cracked and it looks rustic. And then you can see the cheddar cheese and a few of the jalapenos. Can you see the green? It's gonna be so good. Let's do a little recap on our bread. So last night, I put in a bowl 3 cups of flour, 1.5 cups of lukewarm water, half a teaspoon of yeast, that's all the yeast it takes, and 1 or 2 teaspoons of salt. And then I mixed it up just for a few minutes, just until it's incorporated, and then covered it and let it sit out on the countertop overnight, 12 to 18 hours, and then you dredge it in a little flour because it's so sticky. Make a circle, make kind of a little ball, put it in a preheated Dutch oven with the lid on for 30 minutes, and they take the lid off of the Dutch oven for 10 to 15. I went 10 minutes. And don't you think that looks good? It looks golden brown and done. Here's the cheddar jalapeno bread, and I've let it cool, and I'm going to slice it up and then serve it with some butternut squash soup. There's a couple ways you can cut this, slice it up. You can just do big full slices. Or, oh man, look at the inside of that. Look at the cheddar and the jalapeno. Oh, so good. Oh, I like the ends because you get all that yummy crust. That's going to be my piece right there. Look at that. Look at the inside. Perfectly cooked. It's all nice and spongy. And then you've got the speckles of the jalapeno and the cheddar. Oh, it looks so good. Okay, so you can just slice it like that. Or if you want to do smaller slices, you go from an angle and you do 2 angles, one on that side, one on this side, and then your pieces are smaller and they'll fit in the toaster. Like that. But I kind of like this slice. Oh, that looks so good. Okay, I'm gonna get some butter on this one and then serve it with a bowl of soup. And that's my dinner. Got some butternut squash soup. I got this recipe from my friend Emily Hill. Then some pumpkin seeds on top, and then salt and pepper, and then this beautiful crusty bread. And I think that jalapeno cheddar is going to go really well with the butternut squash. I'll let you know in just a minute. Mmm. Oh, you guys have to make this. This bread is dynamite. This is so good. And then dipped in that soup. Delicious. Get your bread started tonight so you can bake it tomorrow. You do not want to miss this. This is the best ever. I'm supposed to be on the keto diet, but this bread was too big of a temptation. It's worth it.